Do you know what the best version of you looks like? Just take a look in the mirror, the person that you were born to be, and say, huh, I'm taking on the best. Every day is a new day to step it up, and maybe some days I feel like giving up. I just don't get it, but I can't forget that I'm a believer in the power of yet. I may not know it now, but I will. Take a deep breath and I'm chill. Mistakes are part of the game, I embrace them. I don't run from my fears, I face them. How? I pay attention, I take charge of my learning. Draw it out and work it out to show my journey. Try until it clicks, make sure that it sticks. Working at it constantly is my secret. Practice is not something I do once I'm good. It's the one thing I do that makes me good. So I take another step, I'm obsessed with progress. You know why? Why? I'm taking on the best.
Hello world changers, and welcome to this episode of Taking on the Best. My name is Miss McCarthy and I am on a mission to make math fun, make it click, and make it stick for you. And I'm so excited that I get to be your guide as we not only dive into Florida's best standards for 5th grade math, but I'm also here to encourage you and support you every step of the way as you take on the best version of yourself. So without further ado, let's get into this video lesson and let me teach you. In today's video lesson, we will be practicing with patterns, with inputs and outputs. It's going to be awesome. So go ahead and grab your pencil, grab your workbook page, and let's get ready to take some notes. So let's just jump into number 1. It says, what are the missing values in the table below? This table down here is called an input-output table. You can see right here, this is our input, and right here is our output. And I love input-output tables. It's kind of like a machine when you think about it, like a factory. When you put something in and goes through the machine of patterns, like the pattern machine, it comes out as an output based on the rule that you give the machine. And you might be like, Miss McCarthy, what are you talking about? Well, we are going to practice it, okay? So right here, where we notice the inputs, we have the input of 0, 1, 2, and 3. And you can see input X. That means that all of these values, 0, 1, 2, and 3, we need to plug those in for X. Wherever we see X, we're going to plug in that value and then see what are the outputs when we do that. We can also tell from this table that the input of 1 will give us an output of 25, and the input of 2 will give us an output of 27. And over here is our rule, 23 plus 2x. This rule can also be called an expression. It's a rule represented as an expression. And here we can see X. That is our input, or the value that we will put into the problem and see what we get as an answer. It'll be our output. I also want to point out that you see how 2 and X are squished together, 2x. Whenever that happens and there's no sign, no adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing sign, whenever you see a number and a variable like X pushed together like that, it means that they're being multiplied. Okay, it's just understood that multiplication is happening there. All right, I've just spewed out a lot. I think the best way to tackle these is just to practice them, okay? So follow along with me. I'm gonna erase some of this that I've highlighted, but our goal is to find right here what the output is when we plug in a value of 0 and what the output is when we plug in a value of 3. So let's start with 0. Okay, we have the rule, 23 plus 2 times x. We're going to rewrite that as 23 plus 2, and I'm going to create parentheses right there to plug in 0, okay? We're changing x, we're plugging in or inputting the value of 0 for x. Let's solve this first, because when we're doing order of operations, we know we multiply before we add. So 2 times 0 equals what? 0. Let's bring our 23 down, plus 0. 23 plus 0 is what? 23. So when we plugged in 0, we have an output of 23. So right over here, we can put 23. And I'm going to erase that because that's what it equals right there. When we plugged in 0, we got an output of 23. This column has already been done. They've already said if you plug in 1, you'll get an output of 25, and if you plug in 2, you'll get an output of 27. The only thing left for us to do is to plug in 3 for x. So 23 plus 2 times x. Let's change that value of x to 3 because that is the input. And we'll see what we get when we put 3 in. What is our output? Multiply 2 times 3 first, which is what? 6. And 23 plus 6 equals what? 29. So when we plugged in the value of 3, our output was 29. So we accomplished the task. We filled in the missing values of the table using the expression. So go ahead and make sure you have this copied for number 1, and then join me for number 2. Number 2, what are the missing values in the table below? So they've given us that if you plug in 0, you'll get 75 as an output. If you plug in 1 for x, your output will be 72. And we have to figure out what are the outputs for the last 2 spaces. And over here is our rule. 75 minus 3x. Remember, 3 and x are pushed together, so really it means 3 times x. So let's write that down. We have 75 minus 3x. For our first one, we need to plug in a value of 2 for x. So where it says x, let's place it with a 2. Everything else can come down. Let's multiply this first. So 3 times 2 equals what? 6. And 75 minus 6 equals what? 69. So when we plugged in a value of 2 for x, our output is 69. All right, and let's do the value of 3. So 75 minus 3x. This time for x, we'll plug in the value of 3. 75 minus 3 times 3 now. So 3 times 3 equals 9. And 75 minus 9 equals what? 66. All right, so we have done it. We have plugged it in. We had a value of 3 as the input. The output was 66. So make sure you have that copied, and then let's close out this video lesson for today. So I hope the information in this video lesson helped it to click for you, but now it's your turn to make sure that it sticks. And how do you do that? With extra practice, because practice is not something we do once we're good. It's the one thing we do that makes us good. So keep practicing and stick with it until you get it with that extra practice. Before we go, let me remind you that the only competition in life is with the person staring back at you in the mirror. Do not compare yourself to others. Just focus on being the best you that you can be. That's what we're all about here, right? Because we are taking on the best. All right, world changers, I will see you in the next video lesson real soon. Bye.